good people? Welcome back to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. I am your host, CL The Source, your friendly neighborhood hope dealer. Thank you once again for tuning in to another episode and coming back for another serving of the inspiration, that motivation, and that positivity. Today is a fun episode. I got somebody special that's been connected to the podcast and myself for quite some time now, and we finally are getting this going. So a brief preview of what's to come in this episode. I'm going to tell y'all right now, a whole lot of positivity. It's going to be a fun discussion, a very transparent discussion, and just a ton of good vibes all the way around because this person with me, and if you're watching the video format of this episode, you can see she's got an LA Dodgers hat on. And I got a Giants hat on. And if y'all know anything about sports, we are rivals to the core. And this is going to be a great podcast also because it could just show that, we unified. We don't need to hate each other just because of a sport and this and that. It's all fun. It's a game. Everybody take it easy. Take it easy. You know what I'm saying? But the Giants going to come out on top of the end. But we'll save that conversation for later on.
That'll be a different podcast.
So my guest today is Danny G. Danny Garcia. Right, Danny?
Yeah, that's me. Yeah,
that's her. And she is the owner and operator and creator of her Instagram page, the Danny G Effect, where she just really does a great job of inspiring, motivating, and just spreading a lot of love and positivity. She shares her like real feelings in her post and connects with other people. I love what she does, and we're going to get into it. I'm going to leave all the links in the show notes and everything like that for you to get in contact with her and everything like that. But she always goes, "What's up, my beautiful people, my beautiful humans?" Like she'll yell it to her lungs and just really just spread that good vibe and just that amazing energy to people. And I appreciate it so much. So Danny G, welcome to the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast.
Hey, I'm so happy to be here. You have no idea.
I'm so grateful that you are here and thankful that you're spending some time here with us to just share your story, share a little bit about yourself, and share what inspires you the most, because I feel like that's going to provide so much value to anybody that listens to this. So before we get started, Danny, I love to just check in with my guests before we kind of get into the questions. I want to ask you, like on a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing on a mental health perspective?
I'm doing like a 10, honestly. Each and every day, we all going to have our own battles and not wake up in, the greatest mood, because it's natural, it's human. But you got to remember that those feelings are all temporary. They will pass. And if you wake up and stay as positive as you can be, that honestly will reflect the rest of your day.
Ooh, man, thank you for that. And I'm so happy that you're at a 10, you know what I'm saying? And I hope that you keep it there and you continue to just keep channeling that energy and just keep sharing that energy, because it's amazing. And I think you're absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're attracting that energy because that's what you are. You know what I'm saying? And it's just great to know that you're in that space. So keep it up. But yeah, I want to get right into this discussion because this is something that like I love doing, is getting to know people, really getting to understand what helped them become where they're at right now. Everybody that's come on to get the podcast is always aimed to like provide value to the audience. And I feel like you're somebody that's going to do that naturally, authentically. So why don't we start, in the simplest place, like where you from originally, Danny?
So I'm originally from LA, to be specific, Arcadia area. And I moved out to Vegas when I was 11 to go to school and live here with my aunt and uncle. And I just been here ever since. This is honestly my second home. And I go to California a lot to see my family. And that's how I ended up here in Vegas.
Got you. And it's not even that far. It's what, like a 3-4 hour drive, if that?
Yeah, it's like a 3.5 hour drive. It's not bad at all.
Yeah. And as I was telling you, like when, prior to us recording, I actually spent time out there near Arcadia, which is in Monrovia, which is not too far away from there. The Pasadena area, Monrovia. I worked in Duarte.
Okay.
People call it Duarte over there for whatever reason.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I'd be like, Duarte or Duarte, yeah. Unless you're from there, then you really don't know.
I don't know why they call it Duarte, because like, come on now, like it's just wrong, but it is what it is. Me and my boy used to make fun of it all the time, but it's all in fun. But anyway, it was a really cool town. So like I know that part of LA. I actually spent time also in West LA. Most of my time was actually spent when I was living over there in West LA, like the Venice area. Really cool place. So, again, even though we got this rivalry, the Giants and the Dodgers, it's all love. It's Cali love, right?
All love. It's all love.
Yeah, so that's great. And so how is it living out there in Las Vegas? Like, what would you say the biggest differences are from living out there in Southern California?
I think the biggest difference to me is the culture is a little bit different. The people, um, it's a lot more fast paced here. California is pretty fast paced too, but I love to go to the beach when I'm out there. So when you're around Venice, you're around, Santa Monica, they just automatically give you like these calm, chill vibes. So, you kind of get the best of both worlds. I love Vegas. It'll forever be my second home, but, my heart is a Cali girl just because of the people, the food, the culture, the beaches, the weather. Just, it'll be forever my home.
I hear you. I hear you. And I rock with Vegas too. Like it's been a while since I've been back to Vegas, but Vegas has always treated me right. And I always had a good time going into Vegas. But, you mentioned you moved out there when you were 11.
Yeah.
What brought y'all out there, like of all places, to Vegas?
So growing up, it was like it was kind of crazy, a little hectic and stuff. And it was better for me to live out here. It was a better situation as far as like school wise and be able to do the things I needed to do to thrive, to be to be a successful person. So as a family, my dad and my mom decided to send me out here to live with my aunt and my uncle. And it honestly was a blessing because I got the best schooling. My headspace was right. I wasn't around bad energy or just bad places to where I feel that I would be tempted to do something that I knew that can actually land me in trouble or land me in a place that I don't want to be.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I ended up out here.
Got
And
you,
it's
got you.
been great.
And was that like difficult in the beginning at first, because leaving your home and like kind of like going to a new place and being away from your family and stuff like that? I know you mentioned you had family over there and stuff like that, but it's different, right, from being away from your mom and dad. How was that for you? How was that experience for you in that regard?
Honestly, it was hard, especially the first week that I moved out here. My sister is like my biggest, she has my heart. She's like the love of my life. So leaving her as an older sister killed me, absolutely killed me. And just being separated, um, it took some time for me to adjust to that. And after that, I knew that I wanted to be the biggest sister, the biggest inspiration. So I can show her that no matter the circumstances, no matter if you get moved from place to place or you feel that you're not situated or you're not comfortable, you can still grow from that. That doesn't define you as a person. That shouldn't change your outlook on life. Even though things are difficult, God puts you in certain situations to help you grow. Even though we might not understand them and they might be completely uncomfortable, they're all for reasons. So I just looked at it in that way. I'm not saying it was easy every day because every day was harder, especially growing apart from your family and stuff like that. But you just have to stay as positive as you can be because at the end of the day, that's really all you got because the situation ain't going to change. So you just got to either be positive about it or be negative. And I choose to be positive about it.
So wow, that's an incredible kind of like perfect segue into what I want to ask next, I guess, because you are such a positive person. You know what I'm saying? Like you definitely exude a lot of great vibes and positivity. Did you kind of develop that in that time of your life, like when you were like 11 years old, like when you were kind of faced with that challenge of being away from home and everything like that? Would you say that that was the time where you kind of like figured that out?
I think I developed it at a really early age because the lifestyle that I grew up with, me and my sister got separated. My mom took my sister and raised her, and I went with my dad. And they're completely two different lifestyles. My dad, he's, the absolute love of my life, but the lifestyle was a lot different. It was, more, probably a little bit more crazier, a little bit more unstable. So I knew at a very early age that I had to be strong. And I had to either know that I wanted to be in that same situation, or I wanted to have my life go a different way.
Mhm.
So I had to naturally be strong for my dad, be strong for myself, because at the end of the day, it was only me. Regardless if I had my family or not, I knew that I needed to hold myself together. And so I think I developed that natural instinct to stay strong very young, because I felt that no matter what, at the end of the day, I'm the only person that got my back.
Yeah, yeah, I can relate to that. And you know what, like, but looking at that in hindsight, to be able to pull that out and understand that that was happening for a bigger reason, to teach you strength, to teach you to be with yourself, to like love yourself, to like take care of yourself and find ways to like have your own back, right? Like I can relate to that. And it's interesting because I can only imagine, even though I can relate, I can only imagine being separated from my brother, because my mom and dad split when I was 8 years old. But fortunately for me, like me and my brother were able to stay together with my dad. And, you know, it was definitely unstable too. My dad had to hold down several jobs to provide for us. My grandma had to move in and help us, you know, help raise us and everything like that. So we were always blessed. We always had everything we needed. It just wasn't like the picturesque kind of like what you think of like a
Right.
perfect family or whatever, if that even exists, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And it's just like, but I can only imagine how difficult that was, because you just described to me how important your sister was for you. Like, were you able to see each other? Like, were you able to like stay in contact? Like, how did that work?
It's a crazy thing. They didn't allow us to be, because my aunt and my uncle were super strict. And for whatever reason, they didn't really like me talking to my mom or my sister. So we're creative. We're sisters for life. So we're going to figure out how to communicate, even if you're trying to stop that in some way. So we would write letters to each other and like
Wow.
send each other little gifts and stuff like that. Because just doing that, we felt closer even though we were apart. And it was hard. It was probably the hardest time of my life, being away from her, and I felt guilty for leaving her. But it was a choice that, honestly, if I could change it, I would have stood there, but it was out of my control. And I had to go with it, and it hurt me. It probably was the hardest thing that I had to go through, especially as an older sister. You always want to protect your siblings. That's just
Hmm.
natural instinct, natural reaction. So just doing that, writing letters, I would sneakily go to the mailbox to make sure I get it before my aunt and my uncle, just to avoid them trying to catch me communicating with my family. And that worked. And we started being able to see each other probably maybe 2 or 3 years later. My grandpa, who actually passed away, he would make it a point to bring her up to Vegas and call my aunt and my uncle and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna pick up Danielle, and they're gonna see each other. They're sisters. Like you can't have this animosity, whether it's towards her parents or not. Like you can't break that bond. You can't break that separation." So, and when she came out here, God, we had a blast just being able to see her. And it felt like there was no time lost. And like I said, she's a big part of me. She's a big part of who I am today. And she inspires me. She's a terrific mother, and she has grown into be this most beautiful, amazing woman. And I am honored to even have, a little sister like that, and being able to watch her grow. It's truly a blessing.
That's so dope. That's so dope how you just described that, because you took me into that space in that moment when you guys connected. And like you said, there was just no like time lost when you connected with each other, because it's that bond. It's that innate bond that you guys have. Like I said, I can only imagine if me and my brother were separated, because my brother is like my best friend for real, you know what I'm saying?
I
So I can
know.
totally relate to your situation that you kind of you just put out there. And I'm just so happy that you guys were able to connect. And that actually pretty much answers what I was going to ask next. How's your relationship with your sister now? And it seems like it's amazing, right?
I talk to her every day. We probably are on FaceTime maybe 20 times a day, calling each other, texting each other. Like, she has two kids, my niece and my nephew, which the loves of my life. And they're constantly on the phone. And like I said, there's not one day if my sister doesn't hear from me within like 3 to 4 hours. She's like, are you good? I'm checking your location.
Wow.
I see that you're shopping. And then stuff like, my bad, my phone was on vibrate. We just have this natural connection, and she's my best friend. We understand each other when we both know when our energies are a little off. So we're up there like, let's plan a trip, let's go hiking, let's sage
Wow.
all this negative energy out. Like, so we know each other's patterns, and we know when we're going through certain situations, and we get each other through that. Like I said, my sister is my biggest blessing, and I
Wow.
honestly don't know what I would do if she was not in my life.
That's awesome. Wow, that's such a beautiful thing to hear. And honestly, like it's such a blessing to have siblings. And like, are you guys the only two? Or is
No,
there
so my mom had 2 kids with her current husband, which are my brothers. I got a 23-year-old and a 19-year-old. And they're boys, so they naturally gravitate towards each other.
of
And
course.
I love them. We talk. One of my youngest is actually in the military, and my oldest is being a supervisor at a gas station. So I'm so proud of them. Like their work ethic is absolutely amazing. And I think all naturally we have a group message as siblings, and we talk shit. We talk about things that's going on in our lives, and how we get through it, and we honestly motivate each other. So I'm close with all my siblings. My sister is she's just my girl. She's my best friend.
I feel it. I feel it. No, that's such a blessing because I was just having a conversation with my best friend the other day about just like some people don't even like their families.
I
Some people
know.
don't even some people don't even have families, or if they do, they're not close. And it's just like I couldn't even imagine that because similar to you, my family means the world to me. And I just like am so thankful for them. And it hasn't always been perfect, you know what I'm saying? And it still isn't. Like it's definitely always a work in progress, but just to have that support and to have these people in your life that care about you, that have this unconditional love for you, that support you, it's just so important. And I can't even imagine what it would be like to not have that in my life. So from the sounds of it, that sounds like what you got going on. And
Yeah.
I just encourage you to just continue to build your relationships with them because they all need, you all need each other. You know what I'm saying? Just as much as you need your sister, she needs you. You know what I'm saying? Your
Amen.
brothers and your family and all that stuff. And I try to do the same thing within my family as well. You know what I'm saying? So that's great to hear. That's great to hear. But I mean, in terms of like relationships with your brothers, like are they in Los Angeles or are they Las Vegas?
They're based out of LA. So they stay. My brother that's in the military, he's out in Texas, and my older brother is with my mom in Arcadia.
Is your sister in Las Vegas or is she in
No,
Arcadia?
she's in West Covina. That's why I go down there a lot to see her and my niece and my nephew. So they're not
Covina's
too
a
far away.
Covina's a nice area. I like that area. Um, and this is just like a personal question for me because, look, as much as we want to paint out like our siblings to be like the best, me and my brothers, me and my brother, we get into it. So like I'm curious for you. Do you guys got to, right? Like you guys got to get into it every so often. And then my next question would be is how do you guys like get past that? And how long does it usually take for you to get past like times where you clash a little bit?
So I'm a Capricorn. So I don't know if you know much about astrology. We're super blunt. It's not that we don't have emotion or care, or that we don't care about your feelings. It's just we just tend to come off very cold, but we have the biggest hearts naturally. And my sister's a Cancer, so she's super emotional about everything. So we know when we're crossing the line, because we'll tell each other, be like, hey, like, land your plane, you're hitting a spot where I'm starting to get sensitive now. We'll tell each other right there. And then she's like, I'm sorry. And same for me. She'll tell me too, she's like, hey, you're hurting my heart. You're hitting me right there. Like, simmer
Back
down a
off.
little bit,
Yeah.
back off. So we naturally, we handle it right there. We don't get mad at each other. I think one time she got really, really mad at me because I didn't text her. I took a little longer than expected. And But we both have each other's location. So I just showed up where she was at, called her by her nickname on the microphone at the place. And she couldn't be mad at me anymore. I mean, so we just go, we just do what we need to do to get over it, because you know what? You never know if you even are granted tomorrow. So there is no point of being angry and holding that resentment and holding that anger. I mean, for what? It's just gonna give you wrinkles. You're gonna get anxiety. It's pointless. Just love the people that are good to you. Love your family. Love the people that are rooting you on through the good, through the bad, and are naturally and humbly there for you. So
Well said. Well said. And I love what you said, because I'm gonna take a lot of what you said and start to apply it into my relationship with my brother, because we are so much more better now, but definitely I recognize that a lot of it was coming from my end, where I am the older brother, so like I always was kind of like well, not kind of, I was definitely controlling, and I definitely hurt my relationships with my brother and my two younger siblings, and we're definitely working on all that stuff ourselves, and it's gotten so much better, so I'm grateful for that. And I recognize my own toxicity and my own responsibility, my own role in that, in hurting and damaging those relationships. But I like what you said in terms of just kind of like letting each other know, encouraging each other to just be like, hey, you're kind of hitting a soft spot, you know what I'm saying? Just
yeah,
warn us, because none of us are mind readers, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I might come off as kind of I don't know, I guess dominant, or just kind of like controlling. And that can really affect the situation negatively. So hearing what you said there, I think I'm gonna just kind of like have, in our casual conversations, talk to my brothers and my sisters, be like, hey, if I'm saying something that's like affecting you in a way, please let me know, you know what I'm saying? So I can kind of like know and set those boundaries, you know what I'm saying? So that
right.
we can have a healthy relationship. I love what you did there. That's dope. So cool. Now that we got like a better background on how you grew up and kind of where you're from and the important people in your life, like I want to kind of like dig a little further into like your Instagram, because like I mentioned to you that in preparation for this conversation, this is actually our first full-on conversation. For those that don't know, Danny and I have been connected for quite some time now, and but this is like our first full-on conversation. We've been DMing each other, just supporting each other, just kind of really rooting each other on from afar, and I really appreciate that support. If I haven't said thank you recently, Danny, I really do appreciate that support. So in preparation for this conversation, I did a little bit of kind of like observing of what you've been putting out there. And in one of your posts, you mentioned your struggle with sobriety. And can you take me into that? And because like I have my own challenges with that. I'm in a lot better space right now, where I don't have to rely on substances as much as I used to. I actually don't even get the urge too much to do it no more, so I'm really thankful for that. And I do know people, and I do have friends that have really struggled in that area. Do you mind if we get into this a little bit and just kind of share like what you want to share about this?
Absolutely. So
Awesome.
yeah, I want people to, because sobriety is probably the most difficult thing that I think that a lot of people are scared to talk about, because you're worried about if people are going to judge you, or say certain things and trigger you to make you feel like you're the worst person in the world. And I want to be able to be as vulnerable as I can, because sobriety and being sober it's an everyday battle. You think that if you go years or months, it's like a thing that you're always going to have to kind of carry with you, and it's how you want to navigate that. You have to be in the best spirits, and you got to be surrounded by the best people, honestly. Otherwise it's hard to do it by yourself. And I want to be able to let people know that you are not alone, and I'm here, and I struggle naturally. So I want to open that door so you feel comfortable, it can be talked about, and people are not ashamed to be sober or going through sobriety or going through the struggle.
Yeah, thank you for that, honestly. And like I I know, looking back at personally my kind of life when I was really getting intoxicated on a pretty regular basis. Definitely experimenting with a lot of different substances and kind of becoming reliant on that stuff, what I'm saying, to release inhibitions, to kind of like free myself from pain, numb myself from pain and stuff like that. That's the things that I was doing. And in hindsight, I recognized it was because I was hurting. And I felt like I was, is that one of the reasons why like you feel like you were you know using any substances that you were using?
I want to say partially, yeah. And I think the second part, just being the oldest out of my siblings, it comes with a lot of responsibility. I don't know if you know that, as being the oldest, you have to be the dependable one, you have to be the strong one, you have to be the first to forgive, you have to make sure your siblings are okay. So that is a lot of pressure on a
Definitely.
person. So when you are going through certain situations in your life and then having that pressure on you as the eldest, you want to kind of escape that. You don't want to feel that type of anxiety, because having to hold that and then maintain your job, maintain your relationship, maintain your family friendship, it's probably the most difficult thing to navigate. And sometimes, even though you're the strongest person, we fail. We naturally fall and we hurt and we go through pain. And I think that I use certain substances, especially drinking and smoking weed, just to kind of escape that pressure of being always having to be responsible every single time. It's hard. And I think I used a lot of those outlets to break away and feel like I'm free for a second and don't have that pressure on me as a person.
I can very much relate, Danny. Everything you said is so spot on. As an older sibling, you are definitely the first. You're held to a different standard. You know what I'm saying? There's definitely some pressure that comes along with that, and I think I ran with that pressure. I put that pressure on myself to kind of perform at this level. And then you're right, like it was a form of escapism for me as well. It was definitely, you know, for my particular story, it was, like I was young and rebellious because I was so confused growing up and I was going through a lot of pain from the divorce of my mom and dad, and just kind of like very confused, and I didn't have enough direction. um Even actually I did have direction, but I just wasn't following it. I'm saying? I had a lot of people in my life that cared about me, that wanted to put me in like the best situations possible. My grandma tried to put me in Catholic school at an early age and this and that, hoping that would kind of show me the way. And I would say that looking back at it, it definitely helped show the way a whole lot. And I made some of my best, most like the bestest friends in the world that I've had in those experiences and everything like that, who are my brothers and my sisters now to this day. But looking back at it, I really was doing a lot of self-medicating, and it was just like, man. But now I realize, and I don't know if this is something that you've kind of found out within yourself. I realized because I was hurting, because I was in under so much pain and stress and whatever the case may be, and I wanted to escape, I was doing that as a form of like as a form of like, again, self-medication. And it was because I didn't really know how to love myself, because if I was somebody that I loved, I wouldn't want anyone that I love to go through some of the things that I put myself through. So I didn't learn how to treat myself that way. And I kind of realized that now. I was like, so now I'm just trying to give myself the best thing. You see me drinking my green juice, you know what I'm
There
saying?
you go. Get those antioxidants in. I
Yes,
feel you.
just taking care of myself as much as possible, trying to heal myself. But in hindsight, I realized like a lot of that time was spent because it was just like I was hurting and I needed something to numb myself from that situation. So in bringing it back to your story, I'm curious, like, how did you kind of come to the realization that you kind of were struggling with it? Because at first it's fun, right? At first it's like, oh, you were doing it, we're young adolescent, we're fun and everything like that. What brought you to the point where you felt like it was a little, you were overdoing it and you needed help?
I think I discussed this on my social media. Last year, I separated from my wife. I made that decision that I needed to heal me. I needed to find me again, because it's crazy. I knew that something was off with me. So I started recording myself. Every time that I felt these vulnerable moments or I felt anxious, I would record myself and say exactly how I felt. And I went through those recordings and I realized, oh wow, I'm in depression, and I recognized it because I knew that I felt off. I didn't feel like my positive self. So when I started going through those videos and seeing that I was going through depression and stuff, I needed to step back and really take care of myself. And the whole divorce thing really was hard. It was probably like one of the hardest things that I had to navigate in my life. And when I was going through that, I realized that I was doing a lot more drinking. I was doing a lot more smoking a lot more weed. And I realized that, hey, this is not helping. It's actually making it worse. It really made it completely worse because I wasn't dealing with my feelings. I was trying to block them. I didn't want to experience that type of pain. And I had asked God, like I prayed before I even asked to make that decision to separate myself from my partner. I asked God, I said, God, please help me. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to even navigate where I am at right now. I don't want to hurt anybody, but at the same time, I don't want to keep hurting myself. So I started noticing my patterns as far as using alcohol as an outlet, that it wasn't solving anything. So I said, okay, I was working at Sprouts. I said, what things can I started researching what natural herbs can help me with depression, anxiety, what can naturally make me feel great. And it was crazy because Sprouts honestly saved my life. I was able to help a lot of people as far that were going through that same situation, people coming in anxious. And especially with the whole COVID, a lot of people fell into like depression and anxiety and fell more into, drinking and, doing extra, I like to call them extracurricular activities, because you're doing things that are probably not in your best interest. They're probably going to, self-sabotage in some way, because you're going to have to reflect off of it. But being at Sprouts and having access to all these natural remedies, it helped me become sober. And there was this specific one that is called L-theanine that really just helped me with my cravings as far as wanting to drink something or smoke weed because I'm trying to get out of that feeling. And honestly, natural things helped me immensely wean off of that. And not saying, I think I said this on my social media, I'm not against marijuana at all, because naturally, medically speaking, I see it helps people that have cancer, people that are dealing with severe chronic issues. So I naturally will always be a supporter of it. But I know when I use it to a crazy extent, or even use it to self-medicate, that's where my problem lies. And I don't want to keep doing that. I don't want to keep relying on a substance to make me feel better and to help me heal, because at the end of the day, I'm not dealing with it. I'm just kind of just pushing it to the side.
Wow. Incredible self-awareness that you really just exercised in knowing that, and just kind of like the timing of being at Sprouts and having access to all these supplements and all these different nutritious ways of like helping yourself, and like kind of even just catching yourself, because a lot of people will go down that path, right? And it's so hard to pull yourself out of it. How did you do that? Like, what in you kind of like helped you realize that, like, yo, this is not the way, and then like just want to do your own research and just help yourself?
Because I felt I didn't feel good. I didn't feel good as a person. I felt like I wasn't doing anything positive for myself, and what I was doing wasn't helping. And I so I want to say, before, I didn't really know too much about like natural healing, natural herbs, eating well, and all that stuff. I kind of would just be arrogant and ignorant to it. And when I started doing my research and started putting those like great herbs and eating well and eating more clean based, I realized that I started feeling better. So I took away alcohol, I took away weed, but at the same time, I replaced it with natural like kombucha, natural herbs, eating healthy, and it's, meditating, hiking, really allowing myself to process my feelings and not make myself feel bad for feeling the way I felt at that moment. So it was a lot of self reflection. It was a lot of self healing. I cried, I don't know how many times in my car. And it felt good to release that because
Yes.
my family, especially my dad, has taught me just being as a girl, be strong. You don't have to depend on anybody. Be a self goer, figure it out. Don't show emotion. We were just naturally brought up like that. Don't ever look weak ever. And it taught me that I know our parents look out for our best interests, but it kind of blocked me from allowing to feel emotion, to allowing to actually process it. So as an adult, I realized that, hey, that obviously was not working for me. Let me try actually sitting with my feelings and see what I can learn from it. Can I grow from it? Are these feelings, valid enough for me to feel so crappy or be so hard on myself? So it was like a lot of self-reflection and self-healing this past year, and realizing that if I can get myself out of this and I can help in any type of way, even if that's making myself completely vulnerable on my social media, because there's times where I even broke down on my social media just because that's just how I felt. And yeah, I put myself in a vulnerable situation, and possible, I knew that people can either will understand it and gravitate towards it, or they will, just kind of look the other way. I just wanted to make sure that I was there for the people that needed to hear it, people that needed to see it, and show them that they're not alone. Like, nobody is ever alone, and there is amazing people out there like you and amazing other people out there that will naturally help you and let you know that you're not alone, that you have better outlets. You can listen to, your podcast and get through those hard times, because all those hard times are for a reason, and they're going to help you in some aspect in your life, even though it might not be right there in front of your face. It's going to show later in your life, and you just have to really just hold on and, like I said, ride the wave. You just gotta don't hold on to these rocks when you're going down. This is what Lauren London said. Like she said about the whole river thing. Like, you either roll with the river or you try to hold on to these rocks, but you're holding on to these rocks and you're just holding yourself back from that. You're not allowing life to naturally take its way, its current. So that's it.
Wow, and that's incredibly well said. You said so much in what you just talked about, and thank you for that, first of all. And I just got to say kudos to you, congratulations to you, and keep going. And then on top of that, just like it takes a tremendous amount of courage, amount of bravery, amount of fearlessness and strength to be with yourself, to like be with your thoughts, and then find ways to help yourself. And not only that, realize that like you're the only one that's going to be able to truly help yourself because you know yourself more than anybody else. And the fact that you did that and are continuing to do that every single day through these practices, through what you're putting in your body, through the things that you're consuming, not only through your body, but through, what you're listening to, what you're watching, how you're interacting, like this is all going to just like help you in your life. I strongly believe that because it's definitely been that way for me. You know what I'm saying? It's changed my energy. It's helped me kind of understand that like if I'm the best version of myself, and the only way to be the best version of myself is to take care of myself, then I can be that way for others. I can easily much more be that way for other people. So I'm so glad to hear that like you're on that trajectory. You're definitely on that journey. And it's interesting. I was having a conversation on a podcast that I just created. It's going to come out at some point next week with my boy Robert Prash, and he went through a lot of really really difficult things. And then I started thinking about myself. I'm like, I went through rock bottom and all these difficult things to ultimately arrive where I'm at. And I got to thinking, and this is a question for you. Maybe we could talk about this right now. Like, do you feel like people have to like go through the worst of the worst to finally hit that, like to finally just realize like, yo, life doesn't need to be as hard as we make it, you know what I'm saying? And like, or do you think that like people can just figure it out another way? Because it seems like a common theme is like the people that have like really went through some of the craziest stuff in life have kind of ultimately arrived at these realizations. What do you think about that?
I think that it really depends on the person's life, because you can go through certain situations that they can naturally make you grow as an individual, or you have to be tested in certain aspects. But there's people that live amazing, absolutely amazing lives, no complaints, no addiction, great family, and that's a blessing. You know what I mean? They have their own struggles in their own way, and we all naturally have our own struggles. We all go through our own situations, and I think that a lot of people, you don't have to hit rock bottom in order to have that realization, because you can be in a perfectly amazing place and not have any type of struggle, as far as you that would make you fall into depression or fall into anxiety. Some people are just absolutely blessed. And I'm so happy for those individuals that naturally don't have to face struggle or see hardship. And I think it honestly just depends on that person's life. That's why, to me, I never judge anybody, because I don't know what they went through their life. I don't know their hardships. I don't know their pain. I don't know how they're feeling at that exact moment. So I just try to be completely 100% accepting and understanding of whatever they're going through, whether it be a great day or a bad day. So no, I really think that two people, you don't have to hit rock bottom to really grow as an individual, because you can choose to grow each and every day, no matter what. It's what you put in your mind, what you want to put out there, what you want to naturally have gravitate right back towards you, and spread it out to people and in such a positive way. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I actually very much agree with that. And I think that's why, like, it's even more important that you do the work that you do and interacting with people in the world, and the work that's being done here on the Blessed Beyond Measure, and other people, other like-minded people, just sharing that energy, and also just like kind of just like helping people realize like it's all within our own control. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all the way we, and it's not even like control from like a oh, I'm controlling everything, but it's more about the perspective that we have, right? About our mindset. We can choose the way we like see things, you know what I'm saying? Where even if there's a saying that I love by Wayne Dyer. I'm not sure if you're familiar with who Wayne Dyer is, but it's like once you change the way you see things, the once you change the way you look at things, the things that you look at start to change.
It's true. It
And it's
is
so
so
true.
true. So true. It's so simple, but so true.
Maybe that's why it's so like hard to like kind of grasp, like because I think sometimes looking back at my own thing, I was always just thinking like life is so hard, and yeah, life has its challenges and life has its difficulties, but really when you really boil it down, it's so simple. Like simple things like that, it's just like, and we tend to overcomplicate things. That may be human nature, or that may be our conditioning, that may be how we were raised and the experiences that we've been through. But then the more you kind of like slow things down through the things that you talked about, like meditation, hiking, doing things like being in the present moment and stuff like that, you really start to realize like there's so much brilliance in simplicity. And this is like, I think I saw one of your posts actually where you were talking about that exactly, where you're just talking about like just like the simplicity of things, is that's where so much beauty is, right?
It absolutely is. I think that we take this past year, I honestly learned that simplicity is truly an absolute blessing, because I think naturally as humans, we're always in a rush, even if it's going out the door, even if it's, trying to make it to be the first person in the Starbucks line. We're naturally we're always rushing, and we miss moments. We miss moments because instead of being present in that moment that you're in, whether you're spending time with your family, cooking, reading, whatever it is, we're already thinking about things that are two steps ahead, or in the future or tomorrow, and
Yeah.
you miss so many blessings. That's why it's hard for me. Like I said, I'm still learning how to maintain being present in that moment, but I'll never give up. I'll never stop trying, because I know that I'm going to hit that peak and feel that fulfillment, and I'm going to be present. And I want to be able to share what tools are working for me to be able to stay grounded and be able to enjoy the moment that I'm in, regardless if it's even if it's just cooking or vacuuming or whatever the case is. I just want to be present in every moment because, like I said, I know it sounds very cliche. We only have one life to live, but it is true. Like, why not make it the most epic time while you are here? If you can help the world in some type of way, why not?
Why not? That is exactly the question. And that's a great way to kind of like get into a question that I just developed right now. So, I know in your line of work, you're in the medical field, as you mentioned to me off air, and you're traveling and you get to do all these great stuff. And you're also that tells me also that you're interacting with a lot of people like on a day-to-day basis in your line of work already naturally. So I'm curious, do you have any projects, like personal projects that you want to do that you have planned, like, or that you're already working on? What are some of the things that you're doing to kind of like spread that awareness and share that light that you have?
Yeah, so I mean, I got two projects going on. Danny G Effect, my page is honestly like that's my baby. That's where I connect with my people and help inspire and be there and be vulnerable. And I also want to start up a nonprofit organization for people that don't have homes, that are on the streets because it's so bad. I think it's everywhere we go. We naturally see people that don't have family that are
Mm-hmm.
struggling and stuff like that. And that honestly breaks my heart. If I could take any person that is wants to be off the street and be able to provide a home and a stable a stable base where they can feel that they can grow and prosper from. That's my ultimate goal. I know it sounds crazy, but it's not impossible. I think crazy is absolutely possible. So I've been really
Doesn't sound
saving up.
crazy at all to me. Oh my God, I'm rooting for you. I want to see that happen tomorrow.
Yeah. So my ultimate goal is to hold a massive convention here in my second home in Vegas. I want to hold it at Cashman Center. I have a lot of good connections in the medical field, doctors and stuff. I want to get some of my doctors. My mom's in the dental field. I already told her about this. Like, I want her to bring out her best dentist. I want to bring Sprouts out there because Sprouts honestly saved my life and they bring some type of stability as far as working, and the environment's absolutely positive. And it just like, if you're at your energy is low, just being in the store naturally just will just make you start smiling and make you, it's the people and the food, everything's just so great. And have resources to where people can get back up on their feet. And I
Mm-hmm.
want to hold this massive convention and have everybody that is struggling on the streets, that needs outlets, that needs personal dental care, medical care, access to getting back up on their feet as far as jobs, getting a home, whatever it is. That is my ultimate goal, and I know it's going to happen. And I want to start off here in my hometown and spread out. And I know I'm going to hit the whole United States. I don't care how long it is. If I'm still 80 and still pushing this, I don't care. This is a ultimate personal goal to me that absolutely means everything to me. So those are two big things that are projects for me. Amazing. I don't even like to call them projects. Those are life-changing experiences that I can't wait to see how it turns out.
I just gotta clap for you real quick, Danny. Honestly, like I love that vision that you just laid out, and it clearly to me it sounds like you've already visualized it. You see it already in your mind. You're already getting the things working in motion for that to actually happen, and I don't doubt you one bit. I actually believe in you so strongly because I understand like the power of somebody that has that determination that you do. With also, and you pair that and you couple that with the intention and the want to help other people and serve other people, and that's a beautiful beautiful thing to hear, and to just know that that's what you're working on, working towards. And if there's anything that you need from me on my end that I could do to help you like bring that about, or when that happens you want me to come out there and help, like talk to me, let me know. I'm
Yes,
down.
of course. I need nothing but amazing positive energy. I want good support. I want uplifting spirits. I want to show these people that hey, amazing people out in the world, and you can connect with them, and you can be, these people are relatable. They understand struggle. They understand, the hardships. And, at the end of the day, we're all human, whether what race, ethnicity, religion, whatever it is, we are all family at the end of the day. And family always takes care of family, no matter what.
One love, right? One love, right, Danny?
Yes.
That's what it is. And this life is so precious. I want more and more people to realize that. You touched on it earlier. It's just like, as cliche as it sounds, we do only get one life. YOLO, you know what I'm saying? YOLO,
Yeah.
not in a sense of like, oh, go get fucked up and do that, but like, yo, live your life like to the best of your ability. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing that's not only making your life better, but the lives of other people better? And how are you going to leave this world a better place before you leave? You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, we are all going to go. We just don't know when that's going to be. So we got to make the most of our time while we're here. Every chance that we get to play this game of life and participate in it like another day, it's just a blessing. It's a gift. You know what I'm saying? So I'm so happy to hear you do that. And it sounds to me like you are very much well on your way to accomplishing everything that you envision, as am I. It's great to have
Yes.
someone else just like, connect with like-minded people like yourself that are going in that same direction and trying to make this world a better place, trying to help each other out and just hold each other accountable and help each other push each other and pull each other up. So keep doing what you're doing on your Instagram. It's a beautiful thing to see.
I appreciate it. I really do.
Absolutely. So, like Danny, like that actually kind of, you answered a lot of my questions already without even me asking them, just by like what you said. So, one question I really, really love to ask people, and I'm going to start asking pretty much every guest. If you could go back in time and, hop in that DeLorean, you know what I'm saying? Hop in with Doc and, Marty McFly, and just get into that DeLorean and take yourself back to a time. You can pick that time, and talk to your younger self. What would be the best advice you can give to younger Danny?
The best advice that I would give to my younger self is that you are stronger than you think that you are. No challenge, no obstacle is unattainable. You can always, always, always be humbly respectful, and you can be honest, and people are naturally going to gravitate towards you. You are not a failure, because God does not create failures. He makes you into the person that you are meant to be here on this earth. And I would tell myself, you're doing this. You got this. You're strong, you're beautiful, and you will prosper, and you will help and touch as many people as God allows you to.
That's beautifully said, beautifully said. And I hope a younger person catches that, you know what I'm saying, as they're going through their own challenges and tribulations and just kind of like are struggling with identity awareness and everything like that. They can catch that message and be like, yeah, that message landed real good. So thank you for that, Danny. I appreciate that energy. Honestly, that was so dope. And yeah, I mean, I think so far it's been such a great podcast. And I usually like to wrap it up with that question. And then, like I mentioned to you earlier, I'm gonna hit you with this rapid fire segment. This is a new little segment that I like to have on the podcast because it's fun. You know what I'm saying? It's quick. And then, take your time with these too. If you feel like you want to elaborate a little bit on it too, feel free to say what you want. We'll continue the conversation. But here we go. You ready for these rapid fire questions?
I'm ready. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
bet. So obviously you and I are both wearing caps right now, right? And I've seen you rock beanies on your Instagram and everything like that. So you appreciate a good some good headwear. So for me, is it beanies or caps?
I'm gonna say beanies. Yeah, beanies.
Why?
They make me, it keeps your head warm, first of all, especially because I'm traveling in these cold areas. Vegas is hot, but when I go to Montana and I go to, Wyoming, it's cold. So naturally I gravitate towards beanies just because the people can see my face more, and they feel that eye connection, and I'm actually paying attention. And honestly, I feel more, me. But then I love my caps too. I have my day where I just want to rock an LA cap. And but I guess beanies first, but I can't forget about my caps. I
I
really
feel
can't.
you. It's hard to choose one or the other, right? But if you had
Yeah,
to, it'd be beanies for sure. I think beanies are so much more comfortable, especially out here in the Bay Area. It gets really, really cold. So I would opt for beanies as well. I love a good cap for sure, but it's just like sometimes you got to worry about it falling off. Like beanies are usually pretty snug on your head. So,
right.
it's really comfortable. All right, cool. Next one. And we just talked about obviously eating healthier and stuff like that and, putting better things in your body, but pizza or burgers?
Pizza.
Ooh, that was
Pizza.
quick. You picked that one
Yeah.
pretty quick. It wasn't even like what wasn't even like a challenge on that one.
No, pizza just puts me like, it's just that home good feel meal. Like, it's a time where you don't kind of worry about eating a salad and being, it just feels good. You have that marinara sauce and, that
Ooh.
cheese, and it hits right every time. Get me a good pizza. I'm happy. I'm great. I'm in, you could talk to me as much as you want. Let's share this good pizza. Yeah, naturally pizza for sure.
And they're so easy to eat too, right? Like actually for
Yes.
think because I didn't even answer this question for myself yet, to be honest with you. I love them both. I can't, it's hard for me to choose. So I'm gonna leave that for I'll figure that out some other time. Okay, and also, so you did mention that you like being in nature and everything like that. And you obviously do a lot of traveling due to your line of work, and you've been some pretty cool places. So, ocean or the forest?
Dang. Okay, that was hard because no, those are like my two favorite ones. Um, but if I had to really choose one, it would honestly be the forest. I
Mm.
love the ocean. I mean, like I said, they're tied. It's so hard to choose, but the forest, because when I meditate, I naturally, my aura, my spirit is always sitting in the middle of the forest.
Wow.
And it's natural. I can feel my roots being grounded in there, and I can hear like the birds and the nature. And trees naturally give you energy. So when you put your feet into that soil, even if you are not in the best spirits, it's something about it just energetically just charges you. I can't explain it. That's why I like hiking, because it literally raises my vibrations. And I'm like, man, I can live here. If I could feel this feeling every time when my energy is off, I would be perfect. And I tell my sister all the time, like, I'm going to live in the middle of the forest. Like, that's my happy spot. No cell phone connection, no type of like, social media where, it's going to entertain you in a negative way. It's just like, it's my happy place. The forest is my happy place for sure.
I feel you on that. It's like off the grid living, right? Have you ever seen this movie called Captain Fantastic? It's a dope movie. I definitely encourage
No,
you to check it out.
no,
You
I'm
like
gonna check it out now.
you like watching movies?
I do. I
Check
really
out.
do.
So Vigo Mortensen is the lead actor in that movie, and it's just such a dope movie. It's just like I won't spoil it for you. Just check it out. I think you'll really like it. And get back to me and let me know what you think. But
Yeah,
you're
for
you're
sure.
absolutely right. For myself, I actually I've been doing a lot of earthing lately, which is like touching the earth, which is like putting your feet in that soil, putting your feet in the grass, right? I've actually, as funny as this might sound, I've been hugging some trees every
Hug trees. No, I'm with you. I hug trees too. They give you energy.
and
Remember,
it's just
they've
I
been
just
here longer than us. So
yes, some of these trees are so old and they've like withstood like the test of time. They've seen everything, and not only that, it's just like they they all started from a little seed of some sort, and they grew into what they grew into, and it's just like you want to thank them for their energy. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the best way. It's just like they've given us so much. Without these trees and all these, we wouldn't be able to breathe,
yeah.
especially with all this pollution that we got. They do so
Yep.
much for us. And it's just like, not only that, they give us paper, they do all these different amazing things for us. So it's just like, just taking that moment to be appreciative of the earth and all the gifts that it gives to us. I know that sounds like to somebody that ain't on that wave like we on, you know what I'm saying? Like that might sound kind of weird, but I don't even give a fuck, to be honest with
Me
you. Like,
either. I don't care. Judge me all you want. I don't care. Snap a picture of me hugging a tree. I
I
can
ain't
care less.
tripping. Yeah, I'm gonna make that my profile picture, me hugging the tree. Fuck
There
it. You know
you
what I'm saying?
go. There you
Like,
go. You're going to
nah,
encourage people to start doing that. And
I
they'll know what we're talking about. One day, everybody
exactly.
goes through their own spiritual awakening and they'll understand one day.
Yeah, and then, you know, for me, for to answer the question, ocean or forest, for me, similar to you, how you kind of meditate and you envision yourself in a forest. I actually always see myself in the beach because I derive so much energy from the ocean because it's so vast, it's so like strong, but it's so beautiful. Like you just get so much from that fresh air, and this you can't go wrong either way. You know, that's the fun of this kind of segment, though. You know what I'm saying? You get a little bit, you get to know a little bit more about the person just by answering these quick questions. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I'm ocean, you're forest. Got you. So, how about this? Two more questions here. Two more rapid questions here. Coffee or energy drink?
Coffee. 100% coffee. When I go to these small towns for work, I find the local coffee shop there. And there's just something about that coffee that hits right. You know, Starbucks, no hate. I love you guys. But when you're in that small town and you get that family owned coffee, it just hits right. It hits the soul differently. Your spirits, you're just ready to take on the day. So naturally coffee's my go-to for
I'm
sure.
with that. You said everything that I was already thinking. Coffee is definitely the way to go for me as well. So I agree 100%. Um, how about this one? Because you do some traveling. Obviously, it's for work and stuff like that. But if you had to choose, would you rather take a road trip or a flight?
I would say a flight. Now, since I've been flying a lot for work, I never flew that much before. I love being up in the air and seeing the whole sky, the clouds, the sunset, the sunrise. It hits different. Like it's like heaven to me when you see these plush of clouds and flying over ocean. You see, I really naturally spiritually connect with birds and butterflies. So be able to see things from a different perspective. You know, I feel like I'm a bird when I'm up there and I see things from a different perspective. I feel like I'm flying without having my wings. And
Mm.
so definitely that changed. Before I would definitely say road tripping because you're getting, you're there in the moment. You can stop and pull over and see things. But when you see things from the sky, it's a different feeling, most definitely.
I have to agree. That aerial view of just like being above the clouds, and then as you're pulling into wherever you're going, you see like how tiny everything is. It kind of like it allows you to zoom out, right, and kind of just like look at things from a completely different perspective. Like, yo, life ain't all that bad. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Like, we blessed in more ways than one. Like, we just have to kind of like realign our focus. And I think sometimes that perspective can really help that, you know what I'm saying? So I feel that for sure. But yeah, that was the quick 5 rapid fire segment. And you did a great job with that. You know what I'm saying? So before we completely wrap up here, Danny, and thank you again for your time and everything that you really brought to the table with this conversation. I learned so much. I know that anybody that's listening to this definitely learned a lot, and, can take a lot of the things that you shared through your transparency, your vulnerability, sharing your story, and sharing a lot of the methods that you kind of incorporated into your life to help yourself and put yourself and keep yourself at a better place. Um, I want to offer you some space here to kind of just like talk about anything you feel like you wanted to talk about that we didn't get a chance to. Is there anything on your mind?
No, I was honestly just really excited about this opportunity to be able to, be on your podcast. It's an absolute honor. I see all the great work that you do and how many people you touch, and you affect lives. You affect lives in such a beautiful way. And to be able to come on here and be able to, answer these questions, I want to let people know that, hey, there is great people out here. There's great resources. And I am 110%, even bigger than that. I am here if you need me, if you need help, if you need some uplifting words, encouraging, you need some mentoring. I am here. Let's grow together. Let's come together as one big family and love each other and uplift each other and motivate each other, and that, I was able to answer questions that I hope that in some aspect will help somebody in their life. And that's why we do this, right? We want to uplift people. We want to show them that, hey, there's natural outlets, there's amazing outlets that you can naturally gravitate to, you that are available to you to be able to grow and to get through certain situations in your life. And that, mainly that you're not alone. We all here, we all have struggles, we all have doubts, fears, anxieties, sobriety. We all have our own things, and if we all can come together and not be judgmental towards one another and help and uplift in some type of way, why not? Let's do it. You know what I mean? We're in this world, we're all together. Why not come together? It's so much easier to be kind than to be an asshole. It's the truth. It is really, it's less effort. It's less effort being nice. It's less effort. It's less effort trying to be so mean. Like, you know what I mean? There's no point of you being mean. Why? You don't understand that person's life. You don't ever compare yourself to their struggles, because you have no idea. Everybody has their own struggles. Everybody has their own situations that they have to go through. And why not be together and let's grow together? Let's figure this out together.
Well said. Well said. Thank you for everything you just said, because I fully and wholeheartedly agree. It's just like each one teach one. Let's go together. You know what I'm saying? Like there's enough for everyone. This world is so abundant. This life is so abundant, and just challenge ourselves to keep going and keep growing and doing what we're doing. You're right. It's absolutely for the cause and intention of like helping other people and inspiring other people. And I think absolutely, Danny G, you did that. The Danny G effect is in full effect today on the Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. And thank you again, Danny, for being here. It's been a great time.
Of course, it's been an absolute honor. Thank you for all you do. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And so grateful to have you here, and grateful to everybody that's made it to the end of the podcast, that continues to support and grow the podcast. Please continue to do so. Please share it. Please like it. Please pass it along to whoever might need it. Even if you don't think a person might need it, pass it that way. You never know. They might be able to revisit it at some point, because there was tremendous gems and value bombs being dropped today and all the other episodes. And also, before we leave, Danny, how can they connect with you on Instagram?
So you can connect with me on my Instagram. It's Danny G Effect. You'll go on there, DM me. I don't have, my settings are completely open. Follow me. If you feel uncomfortable, where you don't like to put yourself out there or vulnerable, DM me. Let's FaceTime. Let's connect. Let's get together. Let's grow as amazing humans. Like I said, I love my beautiful humans. Connect with me. I am here. I am ready to inspire, uplift you. I am your biggest cheerleader, your biggest fan. And yeah, just DM me, reach out to me, and let's get connected.
Absolutely. And all that information will be in the show notes as well. I strongly encourage folks to connect with Danny. She is a very vibrant and positive person, as you can tell from this podcast episode, and she's going to continue to do amazing work. So be on the lookout when she gets that convention going, and she's changing lives like at such a rapid rate. So like she's already doing that with each interaction she already has. So just be on the lookout for when that happens. And I'm sure down the line, you and I will work again at some point, Danny, and we're going to stay connected for sure, man. So we out here. Blessed Beyond Measure podcast. Thank y'all so much for the support. Stay up and stay blessed, y'all. Keep going, keep growing, and big love to all y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Yeah. Listen.